Good morning. Namaste, everyone. Today, we'll be discussing a very interesting topic, which is management of insomnia by holistic health. So, we are from Param Wellness and we work for various diseases, disorders, anything that is bothering you. And today, we will be discussing in length about how you can tackle insomnia without even relying on any other things, no medicines, no nothing. Everything will be holistic. And before we start today's session, just try to bring all your awareness in this present moment. Close your eyes and take deep breath. Inhale, breathe in deeply, and breathe out. Very good. Now, let us know what insomnia is. So, insomnia is a sleep disorder. So, sleep disorders, there's like vast definition of it, many causes for it, and we will go through everything so that you can recognize whether you or someone who's associated with you is going through insomnia. So, it makes it very difficult to sleep. And firstly, you are not able to sleep on time. You are lying on bed and then you have all the thoughts coming in, maybe from 20 years ago, why you did or said something to a certain person. Our mind is very complicated. So all those things starts to disturb you and then you're not able to sleep. Then is other thing, you slept on time, you were able to get some sleep, but you wake up early in the morning, maybe around 3 a.m., 3:30 around at that time, and you are not able to go back to sleep. So what is happening here? It is not necessarily insomnia. Is that whole night you are not sleeping. Insomnia means firstly that you are not able to get sleep till very late at night because there are so many things that is bothering you. Not just thoughts. It may be something related to body. We will discuss all these things. And also the thing when you still are able to sleep but wake up in the morning very early, unable to sleep back. Now, important thing, why you should take insomnia very seriously, why it is not something normal, like you feel I am just not getting sleep, what is a big deal about it? It is a big deal. Why? Because you will be tired when you will be waking up, and since lots of work is to be accomplished, you have still all the responsibilities and duties that you have to do. If you are tired, you won't be able to help yourself. You will have disturbed energy levels. You will have mood disorders. So various mood disorders will come in. You will have more of anxiety in any circumstances, stress. You will have deteriorating health. So obviously sleep, now lots of studies are going on, and it has been proved that sleep is a very essential element for your health. It is now, maybe food may not become at that level where your sleep is, because sleep is maintaining, rewiring, building everything up. It is like your body is like a machine. Obviously you cannot keep it running if you are not oiling it properly, because eventually how your car is, if you are not taking care of your car, not oiling it properly, it will ultimately give you problems. So you have to take care of your body, and the deteriorating health, if you're not sleeping properly, you will start to see slowly and slowly. Reduce work performance, you will have decreased quality of life. So all these things is very essential part that can be affected if you are not able to get a proper night's sleep. Now the question comes up, how much sleep is enough? How much should I sleep? Is there any particular number? Well, particular number is not there, but yet there is a range that according to your age, you can decide, because everyone is different. Everybody's body is different. Everyone's whatever they are going through is different. So you cannot give a particular number to it, but generally, if you are sleeping around 7 to 8 hours, that will be still good. And depending again on age, it will vary. So I will go through the next slide where there will be a chart. You can just know what is your age, how much you should be sleeping. Also, if you are recovering from any of the disease, then your timings will change. So the chart that I'll be showing next, and if you're going through any of the situation which is chronic or acute, the timings of sleep will definitely change. So if you go through this, here on the left hand side, there is the number or age group which is mentioned. And on the right hand side, there is a bar. Now on this bar, whatever you see, the black colored one, the black color number is the recommended range. This is how much you should sleep. Immediately before it is too few hours. Like it means that hours is not enough. And immediately after the dark bar, the blue colored one means too many hours. So you just go through, check your age, see how much you are sleeping, whether you are sleeping less, whether it is optimum, or you are sleeping more. Sleeping more is also not good. It can be sign of various things, especially depression. So you should also keep track of how many hours you are sleeping, and also check whether you are sleeping for what many hours and you wake up in the morning and you are still feeling tired. It means that your REM sleep is more. You are not getting the deep sleep. So we need deep sleep. It doesn't mean you always cannot count hours. The main important thing where your body actually, your cells actually get rejuvenated is when you're in deep sleep. So this is the, the graph where you can just check it out, what your age is and how much you should be sleeping. Again, if you are going through, if you're taking medicines, like you have any acute or chronic problem, it can vary. So it is for unhealthy individual. Now we talk about two types of insomnia. It will be acute and it will be chronic. So anything acute is, which is for the less duration. It have just started. Why it has started? Maybe you have some traumatic experience recently. Maybe there is some stress coming up. Maybe your commute hours have changed. Maybe you are going through a very, big life event, anything. So that is acute stress, and it won't last for long. It will last for probably weeks, or you will be over with that type of stress in maybe 2 months or so. So maximum acute stress will go for 2 months, and the major reason will be something came up which was unexpected and or which have disturbed you. It can even be a physical discomfort, any pain, any accident. Everything is not always mental or always physical. It is always combination of two things. And chronic insomnia, chronic means going on from long duration. So chronic insomnia can last more than 2 to 3 months. It is something lots of people face it. It is going on for longer duration, even years. So there will be people who are not able to sleep because they are so much thinking why they are not able to sleep. So there are lots of thoughts, and also there is pain associated with body, which might not allow an individual to have a proper sleep. And at that time, it can go under the chronic insomnia condition. So there are two types of insomnias. What will be the symptoms? We have already discussed few symptoms. We'll go through these symptoms pretty quick. So difficulty falling asleep at night, waking up during night. You wake up so many times, or you wake up too early. Waking up at 5 or 5:36 is okay. But if you are sleeping around at 11 and then waking up at 3 and not able to go back to sleep, like not finishing your recommended 7 to 8 hours of sleep and still awake, that means that is what the category of waking up too early is. If you are sleeping at 8 and waking up at 4 or 5, that is okay. So here, I've just clarified it more. If you sleep really early, waking up too early will be justified. Okay, not feeling well rested after night sleep. So you have slept, and when you wake up in the morning, you still feel like if anyone will just tell you one sentence, you need more sleep, you will go and sleep again, or you feel very tired. Daytime tiredness or sleepiness, irritability, you have depression, anxiety. Also difficulty paying attention. So paying attention anywhere. It can also be, while you are driving, while you are with your spouse, while you are with your kids, while you are at work as well. So anywhere, difficulty in paying attention, or you are not able to focus on task. or even remembering things. So eventually it is also, your memory is also getting affected by you not being able to sleep properly. Increased errors or accidents, ongoing worries about sleep. So this is what I've mentioned some time back, that you are not able to sleep and you constantly think about that I'm not able to sleep. So that also causes, that's also one of the symptoms. There can be many causes. Insomnia in itself can be a primary problem, or it can be due to other conditions. Like I've mentioned, maybe someone is having cancer or arthritis or any other condition where, you know, they are unable to sleep because of another primary reason. Insomnia comes because of another reason. Or else insomnia can be because of stress. So stress can actually create havoc in your sleep cycle, your hormones. You will have more cortisol running in your body. Your melatonin will not be secreted enough. So all the hormones will be so much affected that you won't be able to have that restless night sleep. Either you are traveling, you know, you have jet lag, you have work schedules which keeps on changing, and at times that is also very much a big reason for you to have insomnia. A body is like, you know, a very, very disciplined kind of a being. When you are indisciplined, have a proper time to eat, proper time to sleep, you will be healthy. But if frequently you will keep on changing, giving all those stress to your body, eventually you will start to have lots of problems. If you have irregular bedtime schedules, so you change your timings of sleeping every other day, definitely you will have sleep problems. Stimulating activities before bed, you are watching lots of your mobile, laptops. So there is a blue ray that comes from your laptops, from your mobile, all your gadgets. You are watching TV till late at night. So what happens is it disrupts the secretion of melatonin, and then when you go back, you eventually go to sleep, you are not able to get that proper night's sleep. So try to avoid stimulating activities before bed, because that is one of the cause. Uncomfortable sleep environment, it is very uncomfortable. Either it is really heated up, your room is very warm, very cold, it is not properly dark. So many, it can be various reasons. Your mattress is not good, so you check your environment as well. What is the sleep environment? Now there can be additional causes. We have discussed about the causes that were kind of, you know, a primary cause, or in general, majority of people have it, but you can have other causes as well. If you have any health disorders like anxiety disorders, or you have post-traumatic stress disorder, that also causes insomnia. Because in both these situations, what happens is, initially you're not able, first itself you're not able to get sleep because of thoughts. Once you go to sleep, suddenly something initiate that thought again. Either you wake up because of slight sound, or there is a dream or something that surfaces up, and then you are unable to go back to sleep. So this is also one of the cause of insomnia. Medications and other medical conditions like cancer, diabetes, heart disease, asthma, GERD, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's. So all these and others as well, there can be other disease as well that can cause insomnia. Sleep related disorder, for example, sleep apnea, restless leg syndrome. So sleep apnea is these days it is becoming very common. What happens is, when you sleep, there is a particular time for which you are unable to breathe, because there the passage of air, it gets blocked. So your tongue basically go at the your vulva, and then it blocks the air passage. So sleep apnea, obviously when you are not able to breathe, you will wake up suddenly. So that can also be the cause of insomnia. And then caffeine, nicotine, and alcohol. Lots of people think that alcohol is good for good night's sleep. Actually, it aids their night sleep. That's what people think. But it might take you to the level of, it might give you sleep, but you will never attain the deep sleep. So alcohol is very bad for your sleep as well. Caffeine and nicotine will stimulate your nervous system. So if you are having caffeine and nicotine, especially after 2 p.m., definitely you will have problems with sleeping. Now, insomnia is very common when you start to age, because there are lots of conditions that starts to happen in your body. In Ayurvedic term, the body constitution, body composition starts to change. In upcoming slides, you will come to know how what we are talking about. But when you age, air element in your body starts to increase, and then it again leads to sleep disorders, and you have internal clock advances, which means you will start to get tired earlier in the evening and wake up very early in the morning. And most of the time, sleep time is less than 8 hours. So, and it's a very interesting concept, especially in winters. If you wake up, lots of people have depression in winters. Why? Because when they wake up, especially people who are aging, they wake up before sunrises. And when they wake up before sunrises, they are not seeing that natural light, and eventually they start to have a depression, because light is so important. The circadian rhythm starts to change. So this is one of the reasons when you age, insomnia kicks in. Less activity also, there's no activity, you're not getting that tired, so your quality of sleep starts to go down. And then there will be other health changes that keeps on happening when you are old, and especially if you have not been doing proper care of your body. If, for example, if you are around 50, 55, and you have never done any activity before, but suddenly you realize it is so important for me to take care of my body right now, so that in future I can be a healthier version as compared to people of my age. You can start even now, get into various workout sessions. Especially you have to get into yoga. I will explain why. And start taking lots of detoxification therapies. So what will it do is, whatever you've accumulated since long, it will start to decompose. Your body will release all the toxins out, and then your cells will start, it will be like your cells will start to breathe. Your cells will become healthy again, and then you will have that reverse aging kind of a thing. It doesn't mean reverse aging. The only meaning of reverse aging is your organ, for example, is progressing towards aging, and you do proper detoxification technique, your organ starts to get healthier again by getting rid of all the toxin, and it becomes a version of how it was when you were 30 years of age or 40 years of age. So this is what reverse aging is. And obviously when your organs from inside starts to change, become more young, more healthy, you will have that external appearance as well. You will look more youthful. That's what you want. And like you should be more active. So now, who have more chances of getting this? If you are women, you will have more risk factors, because there's lots of hormonal things going on. Body keeps on changing. There will be pregnancy, menopause, menstrual cycle. So because of these conditions, because of these all reasons, women are more prone to be insomniac. If you are above age of 60, as you age, again, it is only for those people who are not practicing proper schedule of yoga or not taking care of their body. It is for normal people. But if you are very much taking care of your systems, of your body, very consistent, it is not that you decided, you just did for 1 month and then you stop doing it. No, consistently, if you are taking care of your body, then it might be you will not come under this category, under this risk factor. So even if you are above the age of 60, but you are practicing yoga thoroughly, consistently, doing all the necessary detoxification therapies, you will definitely not face insomnia. And lots of stress, if you're stressed out because of whatever reasons, you are more prone, you have more risk factors for insomnia. Lack of regular schedule. You have to have regular schedule. You cannot keep on changing, because there's this term called circadian rhythm. You cannot change your circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythm is what time your body wakes up, along with the nature's time. Like everything is very much predestined. The more we will be in tune with nature, we will be healthy, because our body is made up of 5 elements, and everything around us, nature is made up of 5 elements. If you're going against it, you definitely will have problems. So schedule should be regular. You should be very much consistent with how you are eating, what time you are sleeping. and this will actually be very good. So lack of your schedule, proper schedule is important. Now complications, what will happen if you are insomniac? More accidents, lower performance at job or school. You might have mental disorders like depression, anxiety, substance abuse, increased risk and severity of long-term disease like high BP and heart disease. So even if you are insomniac and then other disease you have in your body, it will become all the more worse. So how your strategy should be? Your strategy should be to take care of whatever disease you already have, plus taking care of insomnia. Both goes hand in hand. So you cannot avoid any just one disease. You cannot 100% rely on any medicines as well, because medicines will have its own side effects. You have to give hard work from yourself as well. You cannot just do whatever you are doing and then increase the dose of medications. No, you have to be very vigilant about yourself, very vigilant about how you have to make sure that you're changing your lifestyle, you're changing your diet, you're adding in all the holistic therapies, so that your body with every week or every month is getting detoxified. Similarly, as I've given you example, you have to oil your car. You just cannot say, or you have to gas up your car. You cannot say this, that I don't have time, so I cannot gas up my car, but I'll still keep on going. Ultimately, your car will stop. Similarly, your body, you cannot be like this, that you cannot take care of it because you don't have time. And again, ultimately, your body will start to give the signs that it is not okay with how you are taking care of it. Now, let's see solutions. Lots of solutions can be done, very much doable. What you have to do is, you have to have consistent bedtime, at least to start with for a week or so. Have a consistent bedtime, set up an alarm even to sleep. So to form any habit, it takes 21 days. So it is okay. It will take 21 days, but you will get there. Make a consistent bedtime and waking up time, even if it is in weekends. So if you are having insomnia, you can for a week or two avoid parties or watching TV late night, because we are dealing with first to get rid of insomnia. Stay active in the sense, don't do lots of aerobic, because aerobic exercises will ultimately increase your heart rate. Don't do aerobic exercises or any exercises later in the evening time. Again, your heart rate will be high, you won't be able to sleep. Incorporate more of relaxing, more of yoga, because it will change your body from inside. Reduce your stress. Whatever stressful factors are, start to reduce it. Many things you can do to do that. Limit and avoid your naps. Don't sleep whenever you feel like you have to sleep. Naps should be maximum 15 minutes for you, because we are working towards one solution. We are working to get rid of insomnia. So no naps, max 15 minutes, make it a power nap. Avoid alcohol, caffeine, and nicotine. It is easier said than done, but you should try to avoid it. Avoid alcohol, or try to limit the use of alcohol. Caffeine, if you are like very much addicted to it and it is getting very difficult for you to get rid of it, don't take caffeine after 2 p.m. So make it a routine of having whatever caffeine you want to have. Reduce the quantity, but in the earlier hours. Make bedroom comfortable for sleep. Make sure you are checking, you have good pillows, right mattress, and everything around you is very much comfortable. You don't have any sounds coming in, any lights coming in. Make it comfortable. Create a relaxing bedtime ritual, which means before sleeping, maybe for 10 minutes, just sit in a meditative pose and relax, breathe, and get into that mode where you are pulling yourself away from the thoughts. You are not your thoughts, and you understand this part. Create that ritual. Understand you are beyond, very much higher up than whatever you are thinking. These things are just temporary. You are permanent. You have been permanent since long. So make sure you know this, think this throughout consistently. And one day you will realize whatever stress, anxiety, all those useless chatters that our mind have, it will not bother you anymore. And have light meals at night. don't eat heavy meals because our body will be either sleeping or digesting the food. So if you want to have a deep night's sleep, make sure your meals are light, 3 hours, at least 3 hours before your bedtime, so that your meals is already kind of digested. And when you sleep, your body is just focusing on rejuvenating your cells, not in digestion of your body. Now let's see why yoga, how you can manage it by yoga, why you should be doing yoga, why not any other activities. Well, yoga is a very much mind-body practice. It is so ancient. It is a very ancient art and science of changing your body, or the main aim of yoga is to understand yourself and go towards the higher path. But the lower, when you go to those higher steps, the starting steps is to take care of your body and mind. So here we are focusing on those starting steps. Once you start to practice yoga, you will realize that how much deep you are. You are not just the way you think. Your perspective towards life will change. It is so deep. Yoga is so deep. So it is a mindfulness mode of exercise. Even you are doing workout, you will lose weight, your fat cells will be burned, your joints will become all the more younger, there will be more flexibility and whatnot. Lots of benefits of yoga, but the main benefit is it is so mindful. Your thought process will start to change, the way you deal in life will start to change, the way you think will start to change. Obviously, when that will start to change, there will be reduction of stress. You will have less stress. You will be not stressed out by any small situation which is coming in your way. You will be very confident. You will be you will be an observer most of the time. Just look at situations and not get indulged into it. It makes huge difference when you react to certain things, when you are an observer, and be empathetic and just put yourself in every other's shoes and then take any solution or think about it. And when you are getting indulged, there's a huge difference. You can understand, especially when you are practicing yoga, you will go to that higher level. Okay, so it is also helpful in condition when you are having muscle spasm and you are not able to sleep because of pain, because eventually yoga helps in pain management. Your pain, whatever pain is happening, headaches, people have headaches at night, they're not able to sleep, they have various problems, various pains in other parts of the body. It starts to go down when you practice yoga, and then eventually you will have a very good night's sleep. It also regulates secretion of melatonin, and melatonin is responsible for your sleep. So when you do lots of meditation and pranayam, actually helps you to have proper secretion of melatonin, which will give you very good night's sleep. So melatonin, especially when we do lots of, there are chakras in our body. And when we do yoga, not just yogic postures, yogic breath and meditation, there are 3 variations that we can give to yoga. And when we practice all those 3, what happens is our chakras get aligned. Chakras are energy centers in our body. And then the secretion of melatonin is regulated. And you are doing nothing additional. If you see, you are just practicing yoga, maybe 1 hour in a day, and you start to have so many benefits. So this is how, there's one important thing that yoga helps with. Lots of asanas helps you to have more cerebral glucose. And the cerebral glucose is very important. When you are having non-rapid eye movement sleep, when you have deep sleep, what happens is your cerebral glucose increases. So yoga first will make sure that your cerebral glucose is increasing. Second, it will make sure that you are having deep sleep. When you're having deep sleep, only then your brain glucose concentration increases, and you have enhanced energy when you wake up. So when you wake up, you have enhanced energy, your metabolic functions also becomes proper, which means that you will have better metabolism. You will not be very lethargic. You will, if you have suffering from even other pains, your weight is going up. Lots of people have pain because they are overweight. So when your metabolism is good, you will have high rate of reducing all those fat cells or getting rid of fat cells. Now let's see few of the beneficial poses. So these are few beneficial poses. Not everything I can discuss over here, because again, body is different. You can have insomnia because of various reasons. It can be because of certain pains or certain condition that your body is having. So what you can do is, I will just describe 2 or 3 which you can kind of do before going to bed, and others you should come, if possible for you, either call me, or you can come directly to our center, and there we can have a little conversation about what actually is, a problem, what is the factor that is causing insomnia to you, and then from there we can go, from there we can decide what all for your body and for your mind. So the few poses that you can do right before your bed are following. First one is cobra pose. So cobra pose is very simple. You just have to make sure that your knees are not bending and your toes are stretched out and your breath is normal. It will help in opening up of your rib cage, especially insomniac people who, because of lung problem, they will feel better. So you can practice this before cobra pose before going to bed. Then this is child's pose. It is also very much doable right before going to bed, and you can do either on top of your bed, or you can have a mattress right next to your bed and practice stay in this child's pose for 30 seconds to 1 minute. And it will activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which is actually responsible for you to get very much, relaxed. Stress will go out. Shavasana. Shavasana doesn't mean that you are sleeping. Shavasana means that you are actually lying down, breathing properly, and concentrating on your body parts. If you're coming to the center and first time, it is good to first learn how to do it, and then you can keep on practicing by your own, or else constantly you can do it under supervision. Now, yogic breath pranayam. Pranayam means the breath definitely constantly keeps on breathing. But when it is coming to pranayam, it is yogic breath. So we have various type of varieties in yoga. They have been like almost for in our ancient texts. They will never talk about how it is beneficial. But now, since lots of researches have been done, yogic breath will make sure that lots of your neurotransmitters and hormones can be regulated. It is also activating or stimulating your parasympathetic nervous system, because lots of blockages, lots of pranic channels, there are subtle channels inside your body. Everything gets cleared out. So there are various pranayams that can be done. There are various Sanskrit names given to it, like Anulom Vilom, Kapalabhati, Bhastrika. So again, whenever dependent on your condition, disease condition, you should come contact us so that we will understand what is going on, and we can let you know what pranayam we should be practicing. So this is the yogic breath. And then comes a very important aspect, which is meditation. You might have heard a lot of meditation, how much beneficial it is. So many researches have been done on meditation that it helps not just in insomnia, but it helps with other conditions as well. It helps with pain as well. So you can understand, most of the time people think that they are just sitting and breathing. What is a big deal about it? But meditation actually is rewiring your brain from inside. So rewiring of your brain is controlling everything. So if you can rewire something, that's what better can you do to your body. So meditation in insomnia is so beneficial that you start to feel that maybe in 15 days or 20 days, the quality of sleep will become much better. So meditation change the way you think. It will change the way you react. It will change. You will become more mindful. You will become whatever initially used to create anxiety, everything will start to go down. So again, we will now have lots of programs that we will run. But before that, make sure today you are registering and at least booking free consultation. Today, whoever will book, they will get free consultation for insomnia, and we can discuss from there what we can do about yoga. In upcoming, now there will be a second session which will discuss more about therapies, and any questions that you will have, you can ask me after that second session is finished. I will be here, and meanwhile it was very great to have opportunity to talk to you, and I wish you have a great health, great day. Thank you. I will ask Vishwanath ji to please take over from here. Thanks.
Namaste. Good morning, everyone. So my name is Vishwanath. So thank you, Pranjali, for passing over. So today I'm going to talk about insomnia and from Ayurvedic perspective. Okay, so already you have learned a lot of information from Pranjali ji about modern aspect and everything, but how Ayurveda look into this insomnia condition. In Sanskrit, that's what in Ayurveda it's called actually anidra, means difficulty falling the sleep and not having a good sleep. That's what it is. So before we get into the topic, but I would like to introduce with Ayurveda, because without understanding the fundamental principles of Ayurveda, it's very difficult to understand what it is. So first, let me get slide change. Okay. So what this is Ayurveda, that's what. So Ayurveda basically is an Indian traditional system of medicine. And this system of medicine has been followed since 5,000 years. And this is all developed and created by the sages. They always trying to prove that actually the mind and body, they are interlinked each other. They are inextricably, they connected each other. And this is not just like a lab tested medicine, but this is a time tested medicine. This has been practiced, used since 5,000 years in their day-to-day life. It is not somewhere they have done research and something, but it is practiced in their day-to-day life itself. The people also used it and they got benefit of it actually. This is one of the best and holistic and sophisticated and very powerful healthcare system actually, because it's not only going to address physical health, okay, because it's not going to give you some herbal supplement, something, yeah, some therapies only. It is beyond that actually, because when you look at that word Ayurveda, it has two words, Sanskrit words are there. One is Ayur and second word is Veda. The Ayur basically means the life, and Veda is the knowledge. So it's a science, that's what we call. That's what it's called, a science of life also we call. The Ayur means it's not, life is basically a combination of 4 different factors. It is not just our physical body, because most of the people in the world actually, they only focus on the physical health, just jogging, running, eating good habits, making that. They forgot about their mind and their soul part actually. So that's what Ayurveda, it is the Ayur means is the Sharira, Indriya, Sattva, Atma, Dhari Jivatam, Ayuhu. The combination of 4 factors are there in the Ayu, life actually. So basically Sharira, your physical body, and Sattva is the mind, okay, and Indriyas, the sense organs. We have like 5 sense organs which we can perceive the knowledge outside the world, and we can judge with that actually, the Indriyas. And Atma, it's a soul. So combination of these 4 factors are very important. It's just not taking care of our physical health body is not important. We have to focus all these other 3 factors also, mind or sense organs, then Atma also, soul also is important. Because sense organs also, we are not controlling them. We are under control them. We are under them actually. They are controlling us, because whenever we want, like, okay, we desire for watching TV, yeah, watching something like that, mobiles and all, other eating habits also like that, any kind of tasty food, something we indulge, means they controlling us. We are not controlling that. But Ayurveda always recommends that we have to discipline them. We have to organize them actually. So then only we can able to control the whole system. So one who has a disciplined life with these controlling and balancing of these 4 factors, the physical body, mind, and the spirit, and the sense organs, that person can be considered as a healthy person, we call actually. Means balancing all the doshas also we call actually. So it's the beyond the teaching about the just maintaining the health. Ayurveda is not the only considering the health, it is a way of living, how you can live 100 years without having any conditions, not even single headache. People are suffering so many cardiac diseases, neurological diseases actually. So insomnia. So these are all factors why we're suffering with that, because we are not organizing these 4 alignments in the body itself. So Ayurveda always, as I said, the mind and the body, they are interlinked each other. Something is happening at the level of the mind, it impacts on the body also. If the body, the physical level is disturbed, it has impact on the mind also. So both are same interlinked actually. So we have to balance both actually, not just one aspect actually. How we live, how you eat actually. It's also how you are organizing your mind. How your thoughts are organized in very well actually. So those aspects also you need to consider also important. So Ayurveda says the entire universe, including us, is made up of 5 great elements. That's what we call Pancha Mahabhutas: earth, water, fire, air, and the space elements. These are. So that's what Ayurveda says. We are part of the mother nature. We are not separate. That's what they call yatra yatra brahmande tatra tatra pinde. What is it? We are the miniature of the whole universe actually. What is existing outward in the world, actually, it is existing within us. And what is existing within us is existing outside also. So that's why we are part of the nature. We are not separated. So that's what everyone like looks into. Actually, we look into that. We are separate from the nature. And that's what we forget, how to live, how to follow the rhythm of the nature. So that's what Ayurveda teaches, how to get balance. These 5 great elements, Pancha Mahabhuta, that's very important. So any substance you take in the world, it's just combination of these 5 great elements. So then Ayurveda again further divided into like 3 doshas. These are called the biological energies, biological humus. They control, they monitor entire our body system. In the outside world, also same thing. This I told you, our what is existing in our body is existing outside world also. The Vata is basically, you can relate it to the wind energy, and Pitta is basically fire energy, and Kapha is basically water energy combination. So even these 3 doshas also derived from the 5 great elements. The Vata is derived from the ether, that's the air, space also we call, and the air element actually. Combination of these 2 elements, that's what Vata is formed. And Pitta is basically derived from the fire and water element. And Kapha is derived from the earth and water element. So basically 5 elements are combined in these 3 doshas. They control and the monitor. The Vata governs with, or inside the body is the communication, the movements, any kind of activities going on inside, or we are doing also physically, like we are walking, jogging. This activity is basically governed by the Vata energy. Our heart is beating, the intestinal, actually the peristaltic movement is going on. All cells are exchanging different kind of chemicals, calcium, sodium, potassium, carbon dioxide, oxygen, everything. So this activity is basically governed by this Vata. If Vata is impaired, any kind of imbalance is going on Vata, so these actions cannot take place very well. The Pitta energy basically is related to the metabolism, our digestion. Whatever food we eat, it get digested properly. Then after that, it get assimilated throughout the body. So that's the Pitta is responsible. So any kind of transformations, changing from one thing to other, that is the fire does actually basically. So Kapha energy next. So that is basically governs with the cohesion, giving the lubrications to our body actually. So whatever the liquid factor actually, when the earth and water, when you combine, the mud and water mix, it is become paste. So any kind of to give the lubrications in our body. So that's what kapha energy comes in there. So in the joints also, the synovial fluid what we have, that is basically, it is coming from the kapha. If our skin is like lubricated nicely, the moisture is there, that is because of the kapha. So if you now see like in this season, in the winter seasons, our skin is basically more dry in nature. So because why? The vata, that is basically makes the body dry, but kapha is also try to give the lubrications. Means which dosha is dominating on which doshas, so that has impact on our body. So vata by nature, it is very rough in nature and light in nature actually, and it's very active in nature. Ruksha, that's what you call actually. That's what the vata has a capability to drying in nature actually. So pitta is basically, again, it's a very sharp in nature. It's warm and hot. That's what our body temperature always is, maintains that particular degree level actually. And kapha is basically always give the lubrication internally and externally also. That's what the kapha energy does. So basically these three energies, they control, the monitor our entire body system. Without three doshas, none of the diseases can be manifested. To get any kind of disease condition means must be imbalance among these three doshas. That's what you have to understand here. So Ayurveda says Trayopastamba: Ahara, Nidra, Brahmacharya. So this is the three pillars of life. This is a three pillars life. Even one pillar also missing, our life will be totally collapse. That's what actually. Ahara, the food is a fuel to our body actually, to give the energy. That's what actually food is very crucial. Sometimes people, even nowadays, I see the people, so many clients, they come in and they're saying like, I'm doing intermittent fasting actually. Yeah, of course, they should be. You should observe. You have to be really cautious, actually. How long you should do it? That's what people like doing, like years and years continuously. And eventually, even that intermittent fasting is supposed to give good benefits, it end up with has a bad impact on the body. So that should not create actually. So that's what means we have to have the proper. Even Sri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita also he explains that actually yukta aharasya viharasya. Everything should be proper, not less or not excess. That is what is very, very important actually. One should not eat to heavy food also one time, although you should not fast totally also. Ayurveda always recommended lagu ahara, light diet actually we call actually. Means not full stomach, like if you're half stomach also we can call actually. Suppose if you take a complete stomach, the 1/3 portion should be liquid, 1/3 portion should be solid, and 1/3 portion should be empty. For what? To play the game, the vata, pitta, and kapha, the energies there. They need space to play the game there actually. If you don't give the space for that, they end up with creating the indigestion there over there. That causes actually. So ultimately, so that's what these three pillars are very crucial actually. And nidra, that is one of the most, sleep is a very crucial part actually. That is basically, and brahmacharya actually. The means basically celibacy, self-control, balanced sexual life actually is very important actually. Not actually like having sex every day and actually getting like a depleting all the nutrients within the body. It should be in a balance, everything is required actually. So that's what these three pillars are very essential in the body. Even if you look at that ahara, that supports the pitta, the nidra that supports for the vata, the brahmacharya that supports for the kapha energy actually. As I said, all three energies, vata, pitta, kapha, they control, monitor entire body system. If you give their food to them, for vata, basically the nidra is very, very essential. The sleep is a very crucial part actually to nourish your entire the body actually vata energy. Of course, we correlate with some extent level actually vata energy to the nervous system actually, our brain. That's what which controls were there. So one should follow the balancing all three pillars in the life is very important. So Ayurveda also gives the impact actually that what supposed to follow actually? Hitahitam sukham dukkham ayuhu tasya hitahitam manam cha tatroktam ayurveda sauchite. Means what is good life and what is wrong life and which cause for our disease, pain, sorrowness. That's what actually gives the detailed information also. And which path makes you very happy and gives the strength, power within your body and makes your life very better and very happiness actually. So that's what you beautifully explained everything in the Ayurveda. So it's Ayurveda is not only to the teachers, yeah, gurus, yeah, physicians. So it's, everyone should need to understand because its life is for everyone. Okay, so you should also, because that's what, if you look at Indian culture, what they used to adapt actually in the, since 5,000 years, this basically is Ayurveda only itself. They're waking up in the morning, sleeping early, eating proper food, healthy food. Even if you look at the whole Indian country, actually, every state has a very different, unique recipes, the way of living, everything is very different, unique in nature. Why? There are so many states in one country, quite different food, because it's a geographical condition, the place, the climate, the people living over there. That's all has the accountabilities over there actually. So not same thing like that. We're coming from directly from Gujarat and sitting here in the northeast of America and following the same steps of food. It has caused a lot of bad impact on our body. We cannot really follow the same lifestyle what we used to do in India. The same here actually. So that's what we have to change according to the climate. Atmosphere is very, very important. So I think Pranjali ji already given a lot of information on the insomnia, the cause and everything. So I will give the direct point on the aspect of the Ayurvedic. See, if you look at in this nervous system actually, the myelin sheath, okay, that's what actually, this is a nerve cell, okay, that's what we call a neuron. So there are billions of the neurons are existing in our brain cells and nerve cells actually. So if the myelin sheath is basically is nothing but the pure of the fat. It's a pure fat. Our brain is made up of, it's a very nice fat. Okay, so nothing is there. So that's the reason actually Ayurveda always recommends to lubrication is very important. As I said earlier, the kapha that which gives a lubrication for these nerve cells. Because when you're driving on the highway, so that is easy to go actually. But when you're driving on the countryside road, it's the humps and done. So when the brain nerve cells are not nourished very well, so they get the damaged. They're lacking with all these chemicals, the serotonin hormone, dopamine hormone, everything. So whatever they have, they can produce with that actually. Okay, it's the same thing as Pranjali explained that car requires the gas actually. When you put the petrol, then only it runs. Means what car needs, you're giving to that actually. Same thing, our body, when you give the proper nutrition, so that will give the strength to your body, and body knows what to convert or what to produce actually. So to produce certain kind of serotonin hormone, dopamine, it requires certain kind of chemicals over there. Nutrients should be there actually. So if you don't supply that nutrients, definitely you deplete with this myelin sheath, it will get shrink actually. It will get damaged over there. And eventually, this is also part of the insomnia, different neurological problems, Parkinson's diseases, Alzheimer's diseases. The people, that's the reason they get. So already you are aware of the insomnia causes over there. Okay, I will talk about this circadian rhythm. It's very important fact actually. As I said earlier, we are part of the nature. We are belongs to nature. We are not any separate entity on this earth actually. So we should follow the rhythm of the nature. We should not follow our own way of living, our own way of following the time actually important. So that's the reason sun rises, sunset takes place actually. So that's what we have to always follow the rhythm of the nature, not our own time actually. That's why sunrise takes place. That's what we have to wake up, not sleeping still continuously. Yeah, sunset takes place means we are supposed to go to bed because that's what our serotonin hormone, dopamine hormone starts activating actually there. But of course, we are in the modern world. We are living so much advanced technology actually. We have light, we have TV, we have mobile, we have laptop. And of course, we end up all these engaging ourselves more. our mind, our sense organs, all these things. And eventually these hormones start depleting slowly. And that causes for the insomnia condition. Even there is a scientist, they say nighttime, the 10 p.m. to 12 p.m., that is the only time. The researchers saying that actually human growth hormones get released. After that, it cannot. After 12 o'clock, it cannot release that actually. So one should go to bed before 10 is a must. Even if you go to at 8 o'clock itself, bed is the right time actually. That is 10 is also still is late. But still we are working so much modern scenarios, areas, at least excuse, extend up to 10 o'clock. That is the okay, no problem. So then if the one who sleeps after 10 o'clock, in his body condition, the vata energy, the wind energy will be aggravated too much. And eventually it will dry up all our brain tissues that I told, the myelin sheath, the fat pure, it will get dry. That's the same phenomenon. So that's why like even Ayurveda has same circadian, like morning 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. That is the kapha time is there actually. And in the afternoon, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., that is the pitta time. And in the evening again, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., that is the vata time. And again, cycle starts from same thing, nighttime 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., that is the kapha time. Kapha is basically tamas gun, inertia, lousy, laziness, that's what we call word also sometimes we use, means that makes you relax, calm down. That is the energy to sleep that time actually. Because 10 o'clock, it's already, the phase is going to change nighttime. After 10 o'clock, the pitta starts activate. Your metabolism going higher there actually, again nighttime. That is a peak hour of metabolism in the midnight actually. But people are awake, that's what we are get insomnia condition continuously, that's the reason. So one should sleep before 10 at least is very, very important. So according to Ayurveda, actually, that's what the vata energy is dominated in the insomnia condition. So one should always focus to balance the vata energy. The vata energy, basically, as I said, is a very dry, light, rough, active energy. So we have to slow down actually with that is very, very important. Means we have to bring the balance of these dryness, the hyperactiveness actually also. We have to slow down actually everything. So basically vata prakopa, the aggravated vata. But if suppose we are done some mistakes, irregular lifestyle and diet, but those doshas get accumulated slowly, but eventually they get aggravated too much. And before get it aggravated, we have to bring the balance actually by following the proper daily routine life. That's what we call dinacharya. Okay, dinacharya. That's what the day and night has created God such a way that to get the balance within ourselves. It is not simply created what are the reason actually. So how to manage this insomnia condition through Ayurveda? So Ayurveda always recommends eating Shad Rasa Yukta Ahara. You should always include 6 tastes in your diet. In every meal, every plate should be there 6 tastes. Sweet, sour, salty, pungent, bitter, astringent. Look at that. When the plate is coming to you, look at these 6 tastes are there or not. You have chapati, rice, sambar, all these curries are like included there. We should not always make sure that only single taste, like only salad. People say it's only salad actually. Nothing is there. The only bitter substance is there. Definitely that will aggravate vata. Raw food, that will aggravate the vata energy actually. And that will add up more for insomnia condition very fast. So basically, to balance the vata, Ayurveda recommends sweet, sour, and salty food. Sweet, I'm not talking about sugar. It's more like a sweet vegetables, like a carrot, carrot, white pumpkin, squash, beetroot. So these are all like very sweet in taste. They help to balance. Even drinking one like white pumpkin juice, that's a very good for the insomnia condition also. Okay, that will brings the vata and the pitta energy calm down. So that will be helpful with that. So basically, we have to give what body needs. Good nutrition is very important. Minerals is very important. So that vegetables, the fruits, okay, these things need to be added more in your diet, so they will be helpful actually. Of course, as I said, Shadrasik Dahara. So I believe everyone is eating. This is the way, hopefully. Okay, this looks beautiful, delicious. Lot of nutrients are there. Okay, that's why beauty actually. Yeah, even rice is actually, even of course better red rice. Yeah, brown rice. According to Ayurveda, red rice is the best actually. Okay, because that contains a lot of nutrients actually, and that brings the kapha energy in a balanced way actually, and that's what makes our calmness also, nutrients also useful. Of course, banana is also highly good. It contains dopamine hormones that helps to mood, like calm down, relax. Actually, it makes a happy mood. Also, banana is by nature. The certain chemicals, the minerals are there to boost up our brain cells. Actually, so spices. You have to include more spices in a diet, especially ginger. Okay. Then after that, other like mustard seeds, the asafoetida, all day. But I would recommend actually cumin seeds are the best for our insomnia conditions. The one who drinks 1 cup of ginger tea, cumin tea at night time, he will get very good sleep. Just try it yourself. You will see the benefit with this actually. Just 1 cup of cumin seed water at bedtime. You will get very good sleep with that. Ghee. Yeah, people are, some of them really afraid about, oh, fat, I gain weight. This will going to happen, this, then that, actually my cholesterol will going to increase. No, if you really use pure desi ghee, it helps to reduce the cholesterol actually. It doesn't really increase. It lubricates each and every brain cells, joints, bones, or muscles, everything. Ultimately, it brings the balance of vata energy. So that's what desi ghee is a very, very good in your diet. Of course, different types of millets. Then, of course, I would recommend to balance the vata, best is a chapati and the rice actually. Millets, they have tendency a little bit aggravating the vata, but when you combine with ghee and other spices, that will bring the vata in a balanced state always. So you can include more this kind of diet that will be helpful for. Okay, now these are the one of the best therapies which we do in Param Wellness also. So Abhyanga. So Abhyangam, okay, is a basically application of oil to the body. That's what we call. Because the whole body, when the medicated herbal oil, when they use and they continuously the friction massage they applied on the body, and that will help to lubricate all the joints, bones, and muscles over there actually. And ultimately, it nourishes the entire our nervous system. That is actually. So they're taking Abhyanga. That's what Ayurveda, according to Vagbhatta, he says actually, Nitya Abhyangam Acharayat Shramajaravataha Pushtya Ayuhu Drushti Prasadaha Sutwak Dadarkutam. Means the one who does regular Nitya, it's not one day, it's not only monthly once actually. It is everyday massage is required actually. Nitya Abhyanga we call actually. And he will not get old. He will not get any kind of vata disorders actually. Okay, and he will not feel tired also, even after the egg working also. That's why. And his skin will be very good. Sutwak Dadukutam. It will give very good strength for your skin and everything. So this is one of the best therapy for the insomnia condition. It will induce very good sleep, very calmness. Your mind will be very relaxed with that. Shirodhara. It is a third eye bliss therapy. It's a pouring oil on forehead continuously. Is about 45 minutes. It's a very relaxing, very calming. It's literally cleaning the mental sheath of our body. Any kind of traumas, emotions, anything is residing within the mind, it cleanses very deeply actually, so that it will boost your nervous system and you can able to cope up with any kind of stress so easily. With the laughing, you can handle it. That's what. So this is one of the best therapy I can recommend. Nasya. Nasahi Shirasodwaram. To enter into your brain, actually, the nasal passage is the pathway actually called. So that's what lubricating your nasal passage actually, putting that few drops of oil into the nostril, that will nourishes your entire brain cells, brain system actually. So that will be also helps to in the insomnia condition to prevent and any kind of bad thoughts, any kind of irregular thoughts going, our mind is wandering from here to there. So it brings the focused and concentrated and calms down, relaxed way. So that's a Nastya therapy, so very good. So all these therapies is all performed here in Param Wellness. So there are some herbal supplements, see Kuntal Kanti oil. Okay, basically it is a hair oil, because especially we apply to the scalp. It nourishes your all hair root, and also because it contains some of the very specific herbs also, that which basically nourishes our brain cells. Basically in the head area, the prana vayu, which is present, that controls our sense organ and the brain. And that's what this oil helps to calm down, relax your mind also. And this is the Anutaila, as I told, the Nasya, the nasal drops actual therapy. Okay, this is one of the best medicine to put into your nostril area to nourish your brain cells. Feet massage, Pada Abhyangam. This is one of the best actually. Everyone is aware of that actually. Our old people actually, they always at night time, they rub their feet with little bit oil. Okay, that's what I call the Kansyavati. Okay, that's what the Kansyavati, they rub constantly with the oil, and that helps to induce the sleep also, because our eyes or sight will get improved with this feet massage actually. So these therapies also performing is very good and practice daily. So these are all like a diet, lifestyle, and therapies combination. We can beat up these insomnia conditions, but just not only focusing on the food and diet. Okay, so of course, as Pranjali ji, she explained about the yoga practice, because yoga practice, the meditation, breathing techniques, that will take care of your mind totally. And the physical level, these therapies and the diet, and of course herbal supplements. So basically you have to holistically, you have to treat. You cannot treat only the physical level actually. You have to focus on the sense organs, you have to focus on the mind and your spirit also, and understanding the life is very important. So this is all about Ayurveda can focus and help in the insomnia conditions. Okay, I believe everyone is good. So please do actually, anyone looking for any consultation today, please book actually. So we are offering free consultation, those who are going to book today. So then we have like facilities open from Tuesday to Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. So we are offering all types like yoga sessions, then therapies. Those who are really looking for any kind of health conditions, please call us and get the help, because we are here for you guys. Thank you so much for attending. Actually, we look forward to seeing you in the next session.